What's up guys, and welcome back to my video. If this is the first time you're tuning in, please make sure don't forget to hit that subscribe button and then for a thumbs up. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this effect I actually did. It's actually the blade effect that's similar to that of God of War, like the blade effect that comes out. So without further ado, let's get started. So I'm going to be leaving every file that is needed to download. They need to be downloaded. This sparks are actually seen. So let's get into the video. So I actually have my clip here, which I'm going to be using. This is my clip. Yeah, this is the clip I'm going to be using. As you can see it, so it's actually what happened in the video. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to be I just need the part which I need for the video. This is it. So right click, alt and open bracket to trim out this whole thing. So I'm just going to be taking this part, this because here's the necessary part I need in the video. So to this end and then end. Yeah. So the next thing, first I need to do is right click and then new solid, and then okay, this will be a saber layer. So I'm going to be adding saber plugin to this saber, and then yeah. So first I'm going to shut this down. So now we need to create a max path. You see this thing, follow on this build, so curve. So we're done drawing this line with the pen tool now. So the next thing we need to do is come back, turn on back your layer. So change this from customize, not the customize, but change from saber to layer max. Now you can see that the lightning has actually gone to that line we drew. Now I have to change this from this thing to energy. So energy actually looks like fire. It's actually burning like fire. That's why I have to select energy. So energy is actually good to go. So now increase the, go over to the customize core, and then increase the core softness. I think 25, 26, and it's actually still good enough. So yeah. So I'm going to be changing this from toggle switching this from normal to add. So yeah. So the next thing we need to do, we need to animate this frame by frame to follow each and every of the movement. This is actually going to be a time consuming something. So I'm going to be doing this, and I actually have to speed up the process. But so first thing to do is press M on your keyboard, turn on the stopwatch on the max part. So start following the keyframe manually, frame by frame. You have to start following this thing to make sure it actually follows. This is going to take a lot of time, but we just have to do it. Okay guys, so now I'm all done tracking the stuff. You can actually see the whip actually following. So if I should turn back the saber layer, mind you, I actually turned this mode from normal. It was actually on normal. I actually turned this back to add. So yeah, so if I should play this now, this is how it looks like. You can actually see the whip is actually following it now. Yeah, so we've got that now. So the next thing we need to do is add in the that trail layer, which is actually so that fire that burns and follow it. I'm just going to name this one as saber so that we don't get confused. So saber, yeah, saber, yeah. So now I'm going to create a new solid, and then I'm going to call it, let me just leave it as normal. So now I'm going to come over to my effect and preset, and then type out 3D stroke. Yeah. So now if you play it now, it's not, you can actually see anything. So now the next thing we want to do is create a, you see the trail which the fire line follows. You need to create a curve. So I'm going to select the pen tool again. For where this curve actually started from. Okay, this is where it started from. Here, and you see it moves. So I'm going to put this curve like this. You can see now the white stuff is actually following it. Now I'm just going to make this curve here, 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 because I believe that's the way it actually followed through. Yeah, let me just take it a little bit forward. So let me take it a little bit forward. So I'm going to try to make this straight so that the trail, because whichever part you create, that's how the trail is going to look like. If your trail is looking rough, it's going to be a little rough too. So everything needs to be good, so that your trail will also be good looking, all good. Yeah, so yeah, this is pretty much it though. Yeah, so the next thing we want to do is come over to the settings. Now this is the part where the whole magic happens now. So first thing you want to animate this to move like same way we actually animate saber back in the beginning. So that's how you need to do it. So it has this start and end to like saber. You can see it's actually moving. So I think we have to start with the end. Take this to the end. Turn on the stopwatch for the end. Press U on your keyboard to see your keyframe. So move a little bit forward to where it ends, and then take it to the end. So if I should play it now, this is what you get. So let's see if it actually follows. Oh, I think that's too fast. So let me just delete this, and then wait to get to this part, and then animate it to move forward. Yeah, this was good. Forward again. Let me see, two from forward. Then take this again to the part where it is. Forward. Okay. Forward again. That's the last place. So if we should play it now, I think it should look. Yeah, it's not looking much better than before. So so now we animated the end part now. So we need to also work on the start so that as soon as it gets here, the end part actually moves out. So it's this part. So click on the stopwatch on this start. Press U on your keyboard. Take this forward. I think I should just move this in. And actually she's actually following it. So this part, let's say at this point it goes out completely at 100. So if we should play it now, I think this is what we should get. You can see this now. Okay, so the next thing we need to do now is come down over to this tapper, then enable this on. This actually makes the edge look thinner. You can see the edge looking a little bit thinner. And then come over to your repeater and then enable this. You can see this gives it that double layer. We're actually seeing it. Yeah. So now that's good. So now the next thing I'm going to be doing now is let me close this back. Change this now to, I think orange would be good enough. To that color, that desired color we should need. Orange would be good enough. Yeah. So now that's good. So I need to duplicate this now. Duplicate this layer. Then I'm going to rename this to as double. Then now on this one at the top, which is the double, come over to your repeater and then disable this. Yeah, and shut down this layer underneath it. Disable that and then come over to the top one. The thickness, increase to at least 24, good enough. Then change this to the feather to be about 85, should be good enough. So I'm going to change this, instead of orange on this top, I'm going to make this yellow, a bit yellow, so you can see that, actually see that redness inside. So that's what this actually does. So now I'm going to select these two layers, the double and the black solid. Without selecting the saber, this is now among this. Mind, if I should play this is what you should get. You should get this effect. You can see this. So I click and then pre-compose. I'm going to call this trail. So let me go back to the top layer. So we have this trail now. So the next thing we want to do now is to duplicate this layer now, the trail layer. Then the top one, I'm going to change this from normal to add. I have this yellow color, which is actually looking good. So I'm going to be adding the echo effect to the top layer, ECHO, and then double click on that. So you now have this now, and then the one underneath it, I'm going to be adding the CC radial fast blur, CC radial fast blur. So you can see how it's looking now. It's not looking somehow red already. Good. Okay guys, so you can actually see now this is how it's actually looking. You can actually see how it's looking. So now that that's done, so go into back into one of all these layers. You can actually just select any one of these, then copy this, or anyone you choose to copy, and then come over to the top at the beginning and then paste this. So now the next thing we need to do is see the 3D stroke on the layer which you have just copied. I need to delete that. So now you'll be left with just the max parts. So the max part that was actually created, if I should show you that, you can actually see the max part is actually still there. So now I'm going to be adding the saber layer to this saber, to this. So I'm going to be changing this color to orange. Yeah, orange, and then changing this from customize color, change this from saber to layer max. And then I'm actually going to be the start and end size. I'm going to be making changes that I can increase. This is the start size, so I'm going to be making that smaller, so it looks a little bit thinner. And then the end size, I'm going to be increasing it. So yeah, so I'm going to be changing this from normal to add, so we can actually see it. So this is how it's all looking. If I should play this now, this is how it looks. Yeah, so now this is looking really good. So I have to now, the next thing we need to do is to animate the end and start offset of this. So I think it's the start offset. So if I should check this now, okay, that's for the back. So it's the end offset. We're going to be starting with end offset. Take this back to the beginning we all started from. So click on the stopwatch on the end offset. It should be completely zeroed out. End offset. So if I should take this from a few frames forward, I have to increase this. Then take this forward again. Then take this forward again to the ending part. Makes it completely 100. So now if I should play this is how it looks now. So now we need to add in more keyframes to this, to the end part, so this to make this part as it's going out, it moves out with the end. So come up and then click on the start offset. Yours might be different, okay? Yours might be at the end or the beginning, it's just different. Yours might be start to end or end to start, just depending on how you started your drawing your max parts. So it's supposed to be, so I'm actually following the end line. Goes out again, so I'm going to take it, moves again, I'm going to take it this part and then moves again. I think this is where it moves to the end of the road. Let me just move to this part, because I think the timeline it also exceed this. So let me completely finish this at 100 here. So if I should play this now, this is what you get. Wow, it's not looking really cool. But now if you can actually see that video, a lot of stuff, like you can actually see some fire sparks and a lot of stuff. So now I actually did a 3D camera track due to the fact that the scene was actually shaky. So I'm going to be doing it for you to get that scene. I'm not going to be doing it perfect. So for those of you who actually have a steady shot, you don't need to choose the camera track. But for this my shot, I need to track this scene because the camera was actually moving. So I'm going to be tracking that first. But since it's just I'm not going to be doing a perfect one, so I'm not sure I'll be tracking this. So this is my spark. I already have a fire spark or fire crack stuff, which I'm going to be placing at the top of the clip. So you can actually see the fire crack. So I'm going to change this from normal to add. So the part where it actually hits the floor, the fire needs to blow out like boom. So I think definitely I do need to track my scene to make it. So I'm going to press Alt and close bracket to cut out the stream. I don't want the whole part, so I'm going to go over to Windows, make sure my tracker is turned on, and then I'm going to do the trap camera, so I have to let this analyze for some minutes or seconds depending on how the quality of a clip is. And mind you guys, the higher the quality and the duration of the video, the more time it takes. So I advise maybe you guys might try to shoot this on a tripod just to avoid any of this stress. So let's just wait to finish tracking. So booyah, it's actually done tracking, and you can actually see all the tracking points and a lot of stuff here. And if I should do a right click and then create solid and camera, it should get this. You can actually see that this stuff is actually on 3ds space. It's not actually moving, it's just there. Like wow. So yeah, well, definitely I'm not doing this. I'm just going to shut down this thing. I can just easily click on create camera, but yeah, I'm just going to use create camera here. So but I'm just going to, since I've already created solid, so definitely a 3D plane, the 3D camera has already been activated, so no need to, which is this one here. So now the next thing, I just have to turn this my layer, this my spark, toggle switch into a 3D. Now it's actually on 3ds space. I can just scale this down to make it fit to the environment, to make it look as if it's actually hitting the floor. So let me press rotation, slant this a little bit, to scale this down, make it still look good. So here I think it'll be good enough. So we should play it now. So it's not supposed to be that way though, so let me take this out. It's supposed to be when the belt hits the ground. I'm not trying to do a perfect thing here because it takes a lot of time to make a perfect shot. So you can actually see it now. When the belt hits the ground, the spark comes out. Yeah, it's actually a 3D, so it's not that good. So now we also need to add more sparks to this other part of the trail to make it also look more energetic. So I'm going to duplicate this in a couple more numbers of time, rotate this, and then flip it onto different sides of the clip just to make it look really good. I might have to speed up this process. And mind you, one thing I also noticed is that you can see this part of the it's not properly shaping. So I'm just going to go over to the double click on that, go over to layer, and then I'm going to create a max path around this spark. So I have to do this now. I'll have to copy, so here, I'm just going to rough max path around this whole thing just to make it look really good. So yeah, now this is a little bit better. I can easily just adjust and move this in. Press F on my keyboard, fill the max path. Yeah, to make it look soft. Let it shrink. I can actually shrink this in. Then scale this down. Yeah, now it's looking much better. So yeah, see how it's looking much better. Since it's a 3D, I think I should rotate this and put it here. So I'm going to be doing this to a couple more layers and duplicating this layer. I'm going to be speeding up this process so you guys can actually take your time to make this thing actually work out. And one last thing I think I need to do is also adding the VC color vibrance to this layer, to the spark layer, to make it look more vibrant. Change it to that orange so it boosts out the color. You can also add the optical glue to it. I don't know how it's going to look like, but I'm not going to be doing that. So here, yeah. So you can actually see the spark is actually a little bit messy, so I advise you guys to make something better. I'm just doing this for the sake of tutorial just to show you guys I actually added this spark, so you can actually try to make something ordeal or align. So the next thing I'm going to be adding is that heat, that flame effect you actually saw around the bed, like it would look like a mirage. So I'm going to go over to layer, new, and then add an adjustment layer to this. I'm going to take this to the top to the very top, and then adding the heat distortion effect. So I'm going to changing this. Okay, this is already at fire. I'm going to be taking the distortion amount to about 17, and then putting the heat amount to 0. so it stops all these tiny wiggle effects. So now I'm going to be creating a max path around this thing, this fire flame that comes out. So yeah, so here we go, creating one around this thing just to make it look, I don't know if it's that big or I'm actually getting it all wrong. Yeah, it's good. So press F on the keyboard and feather the max path. Once it's been feathered, press M on your keyboard. Then you have to animate this manually so it fits to the movement of the hit O thing. That's the movement of the max path. The movement of the wave. So I'm just going to be doing this as a rough one. So you guys just bear with me. This is going to be a rough thing. So I'm actually done doing this whole thing. It's actually looking really rough because I just had to do this out of a hurry just to save time. You can actually see the whole bulge mirage effect following the trail whip, and then with the spark that are not properly aligned. I'm sorry I had to do it that way. You guys should actually be, I'm just trying to save up the whole time. You guys can actually work on your sparks to align it properly to fit in with it. Yeah, so that's it for there. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is that this is the same layer, the adjustment. I'm going to duplicate this one last time. This time I'm going to be deleting this heat effect we added, and then I'm going to be adding the curves effect to this. This should be the last thing I should be adding to this, the curve, and then double click on this, then select the drop down menu and then select red, increase the red bit. You can actually see here it's actually getting red. Yeah, I think that's good enough. So if I should play this now, this is how it looks like. You can actually see now that there is that red effect that comes out, like it's actually heat coming out. Yeah, so that's it. So guys, that's it for this video. That's how I was able to make this video. You can also take your time to add more stuff to this, work on your parts and everything, work on your lightning, work on your spark. And for the spark, I advise you guys not to use the physical vibrance because I don't think that's actually good, because it's actually going to spoil a lot of stuff. So that's pretty much it on how I was able to make out this whole thing, this whole lot of spark effect and everything. Everything you need, the assets will be provided to you at the description box. Still watching on the VFX Masterclass, you can actually get this at your asset folder. So guys, thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you guys don't forget to subscribe to my channel and thumbs up to this video for more. We'll be bringing in more soon, guys. So peace out for now. Thank you guys for watching.